Welcome back, everybody. We are continuing our discussion on the topic of Karma Yoga, which is the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Today, we are having the second lesson, which is we are going to cover verses 1, 2, and 3. The material is already published, so you can go and have a review. And tomorrow, I will publish the video, latest by Tuesday. Last week, we had a little bit of glitch, but this week onwards, Tuesday, the video is going to come. Please follow carefully so that we will have that clarity. Really thankful to our content editing team. So that's why we were able to publish the material in advance. Sarita, Sanjay ji, Mahesh, Rajesh ji, everybody, thanks. That's very helpful because one more pair of eyes that is going to help me a lot in fine-tuning the content. Thanks. So with that, we can get started. Lot of grounds to cover. Means I put a lot of slides. That's for your knowledge. We don't need to go through all the slides, but we will go through the key important topics. So last week we had some introduction of the third chapter. We took a different type of introduction. We mainly focused how we are leading up to the third chapter. That was our major discussion. We found that the key focus or the solution, the ultimate solution prescribed by Krishna is the self-knowledge. Because only with the self-knowledge, all our sufferings and problems can be removed. So that was the key theme of the second chapter. And we identified that. And this chapter, we are going to reconcile that with the karma or the action. So if knowledge is the primary focus, what is the role of karma in the spiritual path? That is how we spent a lot of time. We talked about the Swapna Drishtanta. We talked about all the different angle about the problems, etc. So that's what we saw last week. If everybody missed that introduction, please watch that recording. If it is convenient, we can release the audio also. So that's the introduction. This is what we saw. We saw the structure of the Bhagavad Gita. We talked about the three orders of reality. We found that self-knowledge is the prescription for all the sufferings. And we talked about what is the spiritual path advised by the Gita, which is Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, together known as the path of yoga, plus Jnana Yoga. So we saw that part. And we saw role of karma and knowledge, where the karma is applicable and where the karma means knowledge is applicable. And we spend a little bit time on what exactly is the structure of the third chapter and how it is organized, all that thing. The recording link is given in the presentation, so you can go and watch that again if you want. So with that, let's get into the verses. We have a lot of grounds to cover, and I wanted to introduce you a little bit extra today, if possible, time permits, especially what is sannyasa, the different types of sannyasa, etc., etc. So any questions before we jump into the actual verses? Okay, excellent. Very good. We will go to verse 1. So Anu, could you please chant the first verse?
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Atha Tritiyodhyayah Karma Yogaha Arjuna Uvacha Jyayasi Chet Karmanaste Mata Buddhir Janatana Tatkim Karmani Khore Mam Yojayasi Keshava.
So the third chapter opens with a question from Arjuna. Arjuna got confused with the second chapter. So the question is very important. He said, "Oh Lord, if I understand your words in the second chapter, I see that knowledge is the ultimate solution for all the problems. In case you think that knowledge is superior to action, Jayasi chet karmanaste." So in case, if you think that your mata means opinion, right? So, O Janardana, te means your, mata means opinion or contention or prescription, is that knowledge is better than karma. So jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana. If buddhi, the knowledge is superior to action, or if the knowledge is the final solution for all the problem, then he asks, why are you prescribing me to act? Because the whole second chapter Krishna is saying, Tatsmat yujyasya bharata. So this is a natural question for all of us. If we think that knowledge is the ultimate, self-knowledge is the ultimate solution for all my problem, what is the role of actions in our life? I mean, should we retire from our day-to-day job and seek knowledge? So the Santi Vicheda is given here. Arjuna Uvaja, Arjuna said, O Janardana, Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir. So in case you think that knowledge is superior to action, Tatkim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi keshava. Then why are you asking me to go and act? So one way you are saying that knowledge is superior, but he's saying that you go and do this. Right? You say that X is the best solution and you do Y. That's what happens. So that is the question, which is a legitimate question. So this is very interesting question, and all of us should have this question, because we saw that knowledge is the only means. Knowledge is the only means for the ultimate goal. The ultimate freedom from all sufferings can be achieved only by knowing ourselves. We spent a lot of time last week. So here, knowledge is the solution, but I am asked to do the action. I'm asked to go and do the work. And what is the nature of this work? I'm asked not to run away from my duties, even if that duty seems to be difficult. You and I, our duty seems to be okay, but for Arjuna, his duty is not easy. He has to engage in a war, and that too, a civil war. Civil war means you have to kill your own people. And you have to face the world bravely, because sometimes you feel that the world is going to crush you. But still, the demand of the Swadharma is such that you have to face your challenges, physical, emotional, social, all the challenges we have to face. And we have to perform our duties with a balanced mind, right? This is what the Karma Yoga was. And you have to gain control over the mind and accept the hard facts of the life, even though, and bounce back to the life and perform the duties, even though they are terrible. So the path of knowledge appears to be much simpler and easier than the path of action. So why am I asked? If I realize the value of the spiritual path, still, why should I engage in my duties? Because some people get a spiritual call, what they do? They just leave their job and go to Himalayas. There are so many instances in India like that. A tragedy happens to somebody's life, they leave the world and go to Himalayas. Why don't I do that? Right? And the whole point is, I'm told that something is the best, but you do something else. Isn't it fair? And sometimes, I just highlighted a few points here. This duties seems to be not easy. The duty of a soldier means you may have to kill. Sometimes if you are the executive of a company, you may have to fire people. And sometimes a doctor have to take the sad decision of amputating some organs of a person. All these duties, worldly duties, seems to be not easy. So if there is another path which is superior, why am I forced to act in the world like this? One more problem. These actions has one more problem. Whenever you do an action, what happens? It creates some tendencies in my mind. And that tendency could become a binding desire for me later point of time. For example, if I start doing social service, or if I go to work every day, when the retirement comes, I feel terrible. I know that some people telling me like they cannot think about sitting at home. So this action has a peculiar problem of binding you, because it creates mental impression, and the mental impression will force you to act. You start with every day one coffee. Over a period of time, what happens? That impressions will be created, which will prompt for you for coffee. I started coffee just since there was nothing else to do. I started drinking coffee, but it reached a point where I cannot move without coffee. So that is the problem of the actions. So in spite of having all these problems, in spite of having all these difficulties, I am asked to not to run away from my duties. I'm asked to face the world, even though the path of knowledge is the ultimate destination. This is a confusion, isn't it? Any comments? Is it a valid question?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very valid question. So this answers a lot of questions. So many people think that for being spiritual, what? You have to speak softly. You have to eat a particular type of food, or you have to read a particular genres of book. Society puts certain lens for being spiritual. Here, Krishna is breaking all that convention. So Arjuna's question is very relevant. So he's continuing further. Before that, any question? Okay, so let's go to the second verse.
व्यामिश्रेणेव वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे तदेकं वद निश्चित्य येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम्.
Excellent. Arjuna tells what? Your words appear to be confusing to me. Can you imagine this in any other scriptures or any other tradition? The Lord is speaking to the devotees. The devotee is saying that your words appears to be confusing to me. Therefore, he tells, decide what exactly is the right thing and advise me. Give me clear direction. I don't want to say that X is Y, but you follow Y. Decide correctly and tell me, because apparently, oh Lord, you successfully confused me. So let's see the Santi Vicheda. Vyamishrena Iva. The word Iva is very critical here. I'll explain why. Vakyena Buddhim Mohayasi Iva Me. Tataha Ekam Vada Nischitya Yena Shreya Aham Apnuyam. That's beautiful. The language is brilliant. Let's see. So the first sentence is Krishna, means Arjuna tells, Vakyena. Vakyena means with the words. Your words. Eva. The word Eva tells that apparently so this is some management lesson, right? So suppose means your child says something. Typically what the parents say, you are wrong. He may not be wrong. I may not be understanding it. So the best style of conversation is appears to be wrong. That is what Arjuna used. Arjuna didn't say that Krishna was wrong. Arjuna said, your words apparently, or at least it sounds contradictory to me. That is Vyamishrena. Mishrita means mixture. So that means contradictory. It will contradict itself. So he tells, Vakyena iva Vyamishrena. Means apparently contradicting words. By apparently contradicting sentence, appears to be Eva. Mohayasiva me, you confused me. Your apparently contradicting words confuses me. Buppim, my mind get confused. I'm getting confused by the apparent contradictory statements made by you. What is the apparently contradictory statements? Knowledge is the ultimate solution, but you follow yoga. How is that possible? If something is the best, you should have told me that you should pursue knowledge. So then he requests Krishna. So he tells Nischaya. So having decided. Nischaya means clear, with clarity. Tataha, which is better. So tell me, Vataha. So decide what is better and tell me, Ekam. Only one thing. You say that this is good, follow this. No, I won't say that you follow this. Ekam Vada. Yena, by which Aham, I, Apnuyan, shall gain what? Shreya, the ultimate destination. So Shreyas and Preyas, this is always there in our literature. Shreyas means that is good for me. Preyas means what is pleasure to me. So that is not what Arjuna wants. Arjuna say that what is good to me and which is something that is not going to create problem for others. What is good for me, what is good for others, lead me to the right path. Right? So that is what. So the summary is, with apparently contradicting words, your words appears to be confusing to me. So decide what is the right thing and tell me what to do, by which I can attain the highest. When I was reading this, I was thinking like, I have read different scriptures. Nowhere in the world you see such a bold statement to a prophet or a master or a lord. It is clearly saying that your words appears to be confusing to me. You won't find. Just refer any scriptures of the world, on the planet. You won't see. You won't see the freedom to ask questions, the freedom to contradict the teacher like this. It is 100% guarantee. We all should be proud of being in a culture which allows this type of questioning, because otherwise knowledge won't take place. Right? Even our parents, we cannot ask this much. Means in olden times. Now it's different, right? We can ask anything. Even in olden days, you cannot even ask questions to teachers at schools. They may feel offended. So here, the most ultimate teacher, he is not offended at all. In fact, he was encouraging such questioning. Okay, so let's see. So apparent confusion, we already talked about this in detail, like knowing the self is the highest, but I am asked to focus on my duties. Isn't this a contradiction? This is what it is. And so give me a direction, clear direction. What exactly is the path I should pursue? I'm not sure what should I pursue. There are two options in front of me. One is, should I run away from the painful duties and seek knowledge? Try to go to Rishikesh. Arjuna becomes a monk going to Rishikesh. This is all questions for us also. Some people, very recently somebody was telling me, I feel like leaving everything and going to Rishikesh and settling there. Or should I continue to face the challenges and with the proper attitude? So what exactly is the prescription for me? This is a natural question for all the seekers of the world. So please give me a direction through which I can realize my full potential and be peaceful, happy, and contented. So the question is mainly what the knowledge versus karma. This slide we saw last week also. Knowledge, only our true identity is the solution for all suffering. But can I pursue that knowledge directly? That is the question. What is the role of karma in our spiritual path? Is it okay to leave the world and pursue the spiritual goal exclusively? So we are going to answer that. See, there are some lessons from these words, right? First lesson is, Shankaracharya tells, if we don't understand the instructions, be honest and ask questions, even when the God himself is the instructor. Right? You cannot just keep silent. That doesn't mean that you need to manufacture questions, because in corporate world, that's what I see right now. Since people wanted to feel their presence, so they manufacture questions. That's not what we want. If you're genuinely confused, you wanted to make sure that you are stopping the teacher and asking the question. No true teacher. If the teacher is a true teacher, means is a genuine teacher, he won't feel offended. He may say that I don't know the answer, but he won't feel offended when you ask questions. Second thing is that, like, see, if you read Gita superficially in the second chapter, you also get the same question. What is that? Knowledge is the highest, but I am asked to follow the actions. It is apparently contradicting. Some people, what they do, they conclude that, okay, this whole thing is a waste, right? The master doesn't know, the teachers doesn't know, and the what is means written in the scripture is not correct. So before dismissing the master or the science or the scriptures, we should check our understanding first. That is what you saw in Arjuna's words, right? He said that you are not wrong. He said that your words apparently appears to be wrong to me. It may be due to my understanding. So you have to check your understanding first. So this was one of the greatest lesson I learned initially from Swami Dayananda, because this was one of the key he told me to keep in mind when you learn the scripture. There are statements which appears to be wrong, which appears to be completely against all the logic, but you have to check your understanding before you dismiss the content of the scripture. Of course, after performing all your analysis, that is an intellectual honesty. But some people, what they do, the other day, when somebody was telling that I don't believe in Veda or God or Bhagavad Gita, the first question I asked was, have you read the Gita? No, I read a summary. How can you say that? Right? And then the third goal is always seek the path of good than the path of pleasant. Because eventually, ultimately, the path of good is that is what is going to benefit us a lot. So I try to coordinate the lessons like that after 3-4 verses. Hopefully this will be helpful. And if you think that any other lessons are there, please comment and we can add that also as part of our material. So is it clear, the verses 1 and 2? Anybody wants to comment or add any other thoughts on verses 1 and 2?
Rajesh, where does in verses 1 and 2 the lesson 3 is mentioned?
Lesson 3 is a commentary. It's from commentary of Shankara.
Okay.
Yeah, I told you I'm closely following commentary of Shankara. 1 and 2 is obvious. It is there. I can point out that. So you can see that verse 1, Arjuna is questioning Arjuna. Arjuna is questioning Krishna. Lesson 2, you can see that Arjuna's way of Arjuna questioning Krishna. So these two are there. So these are the commentators. They do good analysis, but they are beneficial to us. I'm not picking, there are 6 lessons, in fact. I'm pulling only 3, which is relevant to us in the modern day. That's it. Okay. Any other comments? But do you understand what exactly is the context of the question? What is the question? Is that clear?
Yes, Rajesh.
Excellent. So now let's go to the Big Bang. Krishna is going to answer. Yeah, couple of points. In this verses, Krishna was called by 2 names. One is called Janardana and the other one is called Keshava. The word Janardana means I'm putting that in as information in the slide so you can take this. It's already there for you. Beautiful names. Janardana. Jananam Ardanaha. The one who is the destination. The one who is the ultimate goal of all the human beings. All the Jana. That is one meaning. The one who is sought after by all the people. Because wherever I seek something, the ultimate destination, the giver is Janardana. And the second one is what? The one who is a Mardana, the one who punishes people. Apparently look like the one who punishes people. Because whenever I do a bad karma, the one who governs the law of karma and make sure that people get the reaction of their karma. So that is also Janardana. So at the very same time, he is the one who is the ultimate destination of everybody. Second thing is that he is the one who makes sure that the karma palas are properly governed and given to people. This is there in the Vishnu Sahasranama. If somebody interested, text me. I'll give you more details on these names because Vishnu Sahasranama has all these names elaborated. The second name, Keshava. This name also has multiple meanings. One simple meaning is, people used to say that is the one who killed the demon called Keshi is Keshava. I didn't put that type of meaning here. Keshi means again demonic tendencies in my mind. So the one who destroys negative tendencies in the mind is called Keshi. But the meaning that I liked is the one who is the cause of the creation, sustaining and the destruction of the universe is Keshava. That is another meaning. There is a third meaning also from the context of Purana. So from the context of Purana, it is said that the one who has locked hair is Keshava. Krishna is known for his locked hair. So that is also Keshava. But understand that these words are nothing but pointers pointing to the infinity, right? Ishvara is infinite, and the infinite cannot be described with finite words. So what is the option left to us? Only some pointers. Certain pointers pointing to that infinite is used to indicate that reality. And that is why you have 1,000 names. And this is what is Vishnu Sahasranama. Anybody interested? You can read the brilliant book Vishnu Sahasranama. Shankaracharya, when he was after completing when he joined his master, the master tested him by asking him to write a commentary on Vishnu Sahasranama. It is said, the legend is saying, or the stories, per the stories, he wrote his first commentary on Vishnu Sahasranama at the age of 9. So if anybody is interested to understand more the details of this name, you can refer 2 books. One is the Vishnu Sahasranama commentary by Swami Chinmayananda. It is available in Chinmaya Mission. And another book is a bigger book by Vishnu Sahasranama commentary by Swami Dayananda Saraswati. These 2 books are brilliant. If you are beginners, you can start with Swami Chinmayananda's book. That is really good. Okay. So now let's go to Krishna's answer, which is the 3rd verse. Anu, could you please chant?
Shri Bhagavanuvāca Lokesmin Dvivitha Nishtha Pura Prokta Mayanakha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam.
Thank you. This is one of the most confusing verse of the Bhagavad Gita. People always misinterpret this verse. So we need to understand this verse clearly. So the theme of this verse is the twofold lifestyle. So in the path of spirituality, you have a choice on the lifestyle. How you can pursue your spiritual path? There is a choice. There are 2 choices. One is the life of a sannyasi. The other one is the life of a householder, or one who engages in the worldly activities. The other one is one who is not engaging with the worldly activities. So let's try to understand the meaning. So the Sandhi Vicheta is Sri Bhagavan Vacha Loke Asmin Divitha Nishta Pura Prokta Maya Anakha Jnana Yogya Ena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yogenam. So the first sentence is Shri Bhagavan said. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. So blessed Lord said. What? Anakha. The first word Krishna used to call Arjuna was brilliant. He said, Anakha, oh sinless one. Right? Look at the way somebody is called in the scriptures. And look at the way some other people call you, right? Some people call you, oh sinners, hopeless people. Here it's not like that. Oh sinless one, Anakha. Divitha Nishta. So in this world, Asmin Loke means in this world. In this world, Dvivitha Nishta. There are twofold lifestyle. Pura Prokta Mayanakha. I have given this order in the very beginning of the creation. Ever since the beginning of the creation, you can see that there is a twofold lifestyle in the spiritual path. What are they? Krishna tells, Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam. Sankhyanam. The word Sankhya means sannyasis. Here the word Sankhyanam means sannyasis, the one who renounce the world. Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam. They can pursue knowledge exclusively. Karma Yogena Yoginam. For everybody else, Karma Yoga. So in this world, there are two choices. One is called for means the life. There are two lifestyle. One is the lifestyle of a sannyasi, and the second one is the lifestyle of a yogi. There is a choice. I can decide whether I wanted to follow the path of sannyasa or whether I want to follow the path of yoga. So now we wanted to elaborate on this topic. So this topic, this world, there are two lifestyle. One is, suppose you have the mental maturity. Suppose you have at least a little bit of control of your mind and you feel full value in the spiritual path. You don't want to engage with the world at all because it's not a means of convenience, but you want to dedicate your life. What? Still you have to do karma. What? Seeking knowledge. Then what you can do, you can take the lifestyle of a sannyasi. So that is one choice. And the second choice is what? If you are not able to, for example, you cannot renounce the world. You have desires. You have the instinct to perform actions. If that is the case, right? You cannot dedicate your life 100% in pursuing knowledge. Then you can pursue the life of a karma yogi. You have 100% choice what to select, but it has to be your own choice and it has to be based upon your mental style. For example, like in the modern world, somebody can go and do an R&D and somebody can go and do an execution specialist. How many people can stay the R&D? They may have to wait, means read and study. Only thing they do is the knowledge seeking. So are you ready to do that? Is your mental makeup fit for you to become a sannyasi? For Shankaracharya, it is less than 1% of the people. So if you think that you are no interest in this world, you do not have any major desires. Your only desire is to pursue knowledge. Your only desire is to pursue Atma. Your only desire is to seek knowledge. You can give up the world. You can take the life of a sannyasi and exclusively perform the knowledge seeking. That is one choice. That is what is Sankhyanam, the life of renunciate. And then what? The life of a karma yogi is what? The other people, you can select the life of a karma yogi. You can go and face your responsibilities. So the choice is only on the lifestyle. And both these lifestyle lead to the same destination. Whether you take the life of a sannyasi or whether you take the life of a karma yogi, both will lead to the same destination. Now, adding a little bit more color to that, both the sannyasis and karma yogi has to go through the two-step approach we talked earlier. Both the sannyasi and the karma yogi will have to do karma yoga. So that is no choice. So the difference is only in the karma. For example, means I have selected the life of a householder. So what happens? The karmas in front of me is the worldly karma, whereas the karma in front of a sannyasi is knowledge seeking. But both are doing karma. So there is no escape from karma. There is no escape from upasana. So the karma yoga and upasana yoga is absolutely mandatory. Step number 1, you have to do karma yoga and upasana yoga and gain mental purity and mental stability. A sannyasi has to do that. A karma yogi has to do that. Whereas for a difference is, what exactly is the karma of a sannyasi? His karma is seeking knowledge. That is why the jnana, the path of jnana, he will convert that as a knowledge. Means yoga. He will appear that with the yoga buddhi. That's it. So he will have to perform karma yoga. He will have to perform upasana yoga. He will have to get mental purity, mental stability, and then he has to make sure that whatever knowledge he has gained, it is internalized. So there is no choice in the path or the steps. Both has to do the karma yoga, upasana yoga, and the jnana. No choice. But how you approach this path, these two steps, One is you can approach this as a karma yogi. That means your karma will be worldly karma. Your upasanas will be like that. And the case of a sannyasi, the karmas will be totally different. My karma is what? I'm managing mergers and acquisition. That is my karma. Whereas the life of a sannyasi, the karma would be totally different. But no choice between the karma and action. I know that this is the most confusing topic. Let me pause here. Did you understand this? Or any questions or comment?
So
then
Rajesh,
let me ask you a question, right? So then why don't everybody go and take sannyasa? Can everybody be a sannyasi? Can you pursue knowledge exclusively?
No, only after attaining the
only a certain mental maturity is only you need certain mental maturity to pursue that. So you have to look at yourself to see which lifestyle is good for you. So it's not that I like that simple path, which is apparently very simple, but practically it is the more complicated path than the life of a householder. But understand that the life of a sannyasi is exactly going to reach the same destination as that of a life of the yogi or the householder. So the two lifestyle is there. One is you can lead the life of a sannyasi, or you can lead the life as a householder, and both will end at the same place. And what exactly is the steps, which is exactly the same? Both has to have purity of the mind, both has to have stability of the mind, and both has to internalize the knowledge. So one more thing, let me just rephrase it. There is no choice in the steps, right? But there is a choice in the lifestyle. Is that clear? There is a choice in the lifestyle, but even the choice in the lifestyle is completely determined by your mental maturity. So that's why anybody cannot go and take sannyasa. It requires certain mental. So that's why in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives more importance to this karma, this path of householders, because people always were mistaken, and they thought that for you to become spiritual, you need to have this orange robe. So the tendency of this renunciation, it created an inertia, it pulled the country down. But there are certain people who are meant for it. They need to take it, but not you and I. Isn't it a revolutionary teaching? And clarity is important here. Any comments? So I was thinking, like, as I was talking to Rohitji earlier, I asked how this verse can be misinterpreted, because there are two things, right? You need to understand. One is a lifestyle sannyasi. The other one is a state of sannyasa. These two are getting confused. So if you really look at the life of a Vedic vision, per the Vedic vision, everybody has to go through different stages of life. It starts with brahmacharya, followed by grihastha-ashrama, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. So what happens is, some people, why it is designed like that? Grihastha-ashrama and vanaprastha are designed so that a person goes through the life of a normal lifestyle. But some people, what happened? They can bypass that, right? They don't need this grihastha-ashrama and vanaprastha, because they're already tuned towards that sannyasa. So what they do means, the state of sannyasa, they adopt that as a lifestyle. So, but what I want you to keep in mind is that you need to don't get confused between the lifestyle sannyasa with the state of sannyasa. That's very important. Point number one. Point number two is, who can take sannyasa? So let's talk about that in 2 minutes. But before that, any question on this? There are two things. Just close your eyes and think that these two are clear. One is, there are two lifestyles. One is the life of a householder or the life of a sannyasi. I do have a choice between these two lifestyles. I can take the life of a sannyasi or I can take the life of a householder. That choice is completely given to me. But depending upon my mental maturity, I can select what is right, what is good and what is not good to me. Then whether I take the lifestyle of a sannyasi or a lifestyle of a householder, I do not have choice in the steps in the process. The step in the process is, one is purity of the mind, stability of the mind, and internalization of the knowledge. There is absolutely no choice in that. But the choice is only limited in the lifestyle. There is no choice in the steps or sequence. Isn't it simple? It's not very complicated. The problem is, a lot of time people misinterpreted and complicated it. Everybody at least intellectually clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
Rajesh,
Yes,
one
Rajesh.
question
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
So for sannyasi, what is the karma yoga for him?
What is karma? What is the definition of karma? Anything you do with the karana is the karma. What is karana? Instrument. So the karma yoga of a sannyasi there is, he is studying, right? So how does he study the book? What means he has to have, means whatever the knowledge seeking itself is a karma. You have to get the books, you have to study, you have to internalize it, all that is karma. The karma involved in knowledge seeking. And also the sannyasis do some social work also, right? That is also part of the karma yoga. They are not doing for their benefit. They are doing it for the society. If you look at Ramakrishna Mission, the number of charity projects they have is much more than anybody else. Look at Vivekananda. He used to help everybody. All that is karma yoga. Whereas if you look at my life, 80% of my karma is focused on my family and myself. Only 20% is for outside. And that itself is a big thing for me. But for a sannyasi, 100% he is not earning anything. He is not doing anything for his benefit. Whatever he does is for the larger benefit. That is his karma yoga.
Got it. Thank you.
I'm going to
I
clarify that
I was
little
just
bit more.
trying to,
Yeah.
to your point, like when you said, like for both, the path goes to the ultimate goal. But I was just trying to see that, okay, if sannyasi is there, his goal is to gain the knowledge. But what is, like apart from gaining the knowledge, what's his karma actually?
Yeah, he has karma, he has dharma. Like as a citizen, he has some. He has to. Any karmas he will be doing, he has to do in the yoga spirit. No choice. So, and also there is no way he can skip the purity and stability of the mind. Even if he took the lifestyle, just because he got the orange robe, he is not becoming a saint. It's only a lifestyle change.
So sannyasis initially they are also not mentally fully pure, or
Good question. I'm going to talk exactly the same thing. Right now, let's talk about this. Your question leading me to the next information per slide. So the sannyasa ashrama, it is a stage of life, right? You are completely you're renouncing all the world. Your obligatory duties. You don't have any duties for yourself or anybody, but you will be doing dharma. Like you're freed from all the duties. Any work you do is just to support other people. And your main goal is to pursue knowledge. So the sannyasis, per tradition, you can put that into 3 categories. It is known as Vidvat Sannyasa. Second one is called Vividisha Sannyasa. And the third category is called Apath Sannyasa. And I'm going to make up a 4th category, which I'll talk a little bit later. So per the tradition, there are 3 orders of sannyasa. Vidvat sannyasa means the sannyasa taken by a person who already has self-knowledge. For example, Ramana Maharshi is a classic example that is given. By the age of 10 or 12, he already got that knowledge and he chose chose the lifestyle of a sannyasi. It is up to him what he chooses after that. But he chose to be a sannyasi. So he is a vidvat sannyasi. He already has knowledge and he chose the lifestyle of a sannyasi. So that is point number one. Point number two is vividisha sannyasi. Vividisha sannyasi means he don't have that knowledge yet, right? His mind may not be pure yet. He may not be stable yet, and he don't have that internalization of the knowledge. In different stages he is, but he is 100% convinced that I want to pursue this. I don't want to do anything. I want to see God only. So that people is known as Vividisha Sannyasi. Most of the monks you see in the modern world at best belongs to the second category. So the second category means they haven't realized, but they have taken a lifestyle for pursuing knowledge. So that is the Vividisha Sannyasa. And the third sannyasa is known as Apath Sannyasa. So there is an option in our tradition, like suppose you know that your life is coming to an end. So you have an option to take sannyasa at that time. So it is sannyasa taken by a person who is about to die, or at least he feels that he is about to die. Suppose you take that, so you don't need a guru or anything like that. And in fact, there is a mantra you can chant and you become a sannyasi. Because some people believe that if you die as a sannyasi, it will help. The tradition is not talking about that. But nevertheless, you can see that some people are following that. And if you survive after and you find that your lifestyle is not fit for the sannyasa lifestyle, you can come back also. So these are the three different sannyasa. So I know your question is, can there be people, sannyasi, who are not yet realized? Do you think that is every sannyasi you see in the modern world are realized? 99.99% at the best, they are Vividisha sannyasi. That's it.
Yeah. This is a beautiful clarity, Rajesh.
And then I would add one more category, like 1, 2, and 3. And the last category is fake sannyasi or fraud sannyasi, right? In the modern world, in Kali Yuga, what happens? People find that this orange cloth, just like any profession, you can cheat. Your goal is not knowledge seeking, but you want to fool people. So they come in the name of the orange cloth and fool people. So that is a fourth category. And I would say there is a fifth category also. You can say that is Apath Sannyasa to a certain extent. But there are some people, I saw them, right? When a tragedy strikes, they just leave everything and go. That is escape sannyasis, I would say. So these are some different categories, but I was just limiting myself to what the scriptures talk. The scriptures talks about these three. So anybody can take this lifestyle, but only a few people live up to the standard of that lifestyle. And you don't need everybody. You means, first of all, you please understand that one need not become a sannyasi for become a spiritual or gaining moksha. So now, how do you become a sannyasi? So the vidvat sannyasi means you don't need anybody because he is already a vidwan. He don't need the support of anybody. Whereas for vividisha sannyasi, a person taking this vividisha sannyasi, he is convinced that self-knowledge is pursued at the cost of everything else because his primary goal is that. So he asks for the blessings from the parental and maternal ancestors. There is a homa called Viraja Homa, and you put pindas for yourself, right? Your ancestors and maternal ancestors and the paternal ancestors, and even for yourself, you put all the rituals, everything is done. And then you take a vow. What is that? Apaya means two things you commit to the world, universe. One is, I will not harm anybody, right? Knowingly, I will not hurt or harm anybody. That is one vow. The second one is, I will promise to the universe that I won't be a competitor. I won't compete with anybody, right? My goal is self-knowledge. So in the material world, I don't have to compete with anybody. This is a beautiful set of process. So in that, he asked permission from both sides ancestors, They put pindas for both sides ancestors and finally to himself, and he is relieved from all the duties because thereafterwards his father passed away. He don't have to go and do any rituals. And you might have seen a sannyasi doing puja, but you won't see a sannyasi doing a Vedic ritual at all because he won't do anything, because these Vedic rituals are for gaining some benefits. Like, for example, if it is putra kameshti, it is for gaining a putra. If it is for every ritual is for gaining some benefit, he won't do it. And finally, if you're interested out of curiosity, right? Once this is done, symbolically, he walks a few steps towards northern side. Why? What is the direction of death? Lord Yama's direction?
South.
South. So you go just opposite that because he conquered death. He's gaining freedom from death. Symbolically, that is what it is. And then he comes back. The Guru will take him back and give him a new cloth and a new name. That is how a Vividisha Sannyasi is born. And this is purely a lifestyle.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Okay, so don't ask me how do I know. Actually, I was told by a sannyasi. Okay, all this funk process. So this is the true order of sannyasa. Okay. So now I want to come back to this diagram which we started discussing earlier. So this step 1, which is Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga, which is going to give me a controlled, purified mind. And the step 2 is the knowledge, which is going to give me the self-knowledge. What about a sannyasi has to go through step 1, step 2. A householder has to go to step 1 and step 2. So the difference is the path is the same. There is no change in the path. But one way is you go through this path as a sannyasi. Another choice is you can go through this path as a karma or a householder. It's up to you. So once again, the biggest lesson, the key takeaway from this verse we studied so far is there is a choice in the lifestyle, but there is no choice in the path. That's what it is. Okay, that's the 3 verses we said. Any questions? Or comments? If you understood this is fantastic.
This will help is this is going to be a big help in our day-to-day management life or our professional life as well, right?
Absolutely. And you see now the focus is Krishna is going to leave the sannyasis here in next few verses and going to the householder's path, because that's exactly what we want, right?
True.
So how the normal ordinary karma can be used as a yoga, that's what we are going to see. This is a revolutionary teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. So a lot of people think that when I go to temple, I'm spiritual. But when I'm going to work, I'm not less spiritual. That's why the secular and the sacred phrase also came up in the Western world. The church and the state or the normal day-to-day activities are totally different. But in our case, everything is spiritual. The life itself is spiritual. Your life is a sadhana. You can have fun there. You can have everything there. Only thing is that the dharma is, you cannot contradict dharma. That's all. You don't need to sit and pray continuously for being spiritual. So this karma yoga is a wide area. Your bhakti yoga, your hatha yoga, your kundalini yoga, your nada yoga, all that yoga is folded into this karma yoga. So we are going to have a lot of clarity on those topics, but please pay attention to this, and please post any questions also. review the presentations. And if you read a lot of books, it is confusing. One thing I'm very disappointed is a lot of Gita commentaries. This clarity is not there. So that's where the traditional teaching